Hey YouTube, Matt and Roy back once again. Well, I did it again. I have a new computer video for you guys. It's probably been about a week in the making. About a week ago, I picked up two computer towers from a Craigslist posting. One of them was a Core 2 Duo, and the other was this tower. They're both pretty much the same. Other than the fact that the Core 2 Duo I sold and this one I decided to keep. And I'll show you guys why in a minute, but I picked them up for $40 a piece. The Core 2 Duo was complete. It had a Core 2 Duo 4400 I think it's a 2.2 gigahertz processor. It had 4 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, and it had a 250 gigabyte hard drive. Well, I wound up selling that to a buddy of mine. This system I also got for $40, but it was missing the hard drive, so I had to stick one in. Basically what I'm done with this is going to be the replacement for the Dell that was sitting right in there. And I'll go ahead and go over the specs real quick, and I'm also going to I'm getting in a memory card reader today anytime. Let's see what it is. Right now it is about 3:45, so that memory card should be here in about 15 minutes. But until that time, I figured I'll go ahead and go over the specs of this computer. We can start up here. It has two dual-layer DVD burners, and they both do have LightScribe, which actually I was very, very surprised because these are business class machines, and pretty much in business you would never need LightScribe. I don't use it at home either because the discs are super expensive, and I really don't like the result you get with it anyway. Underneath here is where the memory card reader is going to go. It's very hard to tell, but there is a little space there. This whole thing will come out. You could put either a memory card reader or a floppy drive in there if you wanted to. I'm sorry, in this model you can't because this motherboard does not have a floppy header or any type of older legacy ports like IDE. So I guess that's pretty much just for a memory card reader. And it is an HP brand there. Underneath here we have a very small power button. The one feature that I don't like about this, at night when it's dark, it is very hard to find that because, as you can see, it's even a little bit recessed in there. But I can live with that. That's just one feature I think they kind of dropped the ball on. Right here you have your headphone and microphone ports. And it looks like this one can be either a headphone or a microphone port. So you can actually either plug two headphones in or one headphone and a microphone. Got 4 USB 2.0 ports, no 3.0 on this. This is from 2011, so this is about a year before 3.0 came out. But that's okay, I don't have any 3.0 devices anyway. And as you can see, it is running an AMD Phenom, or Phenom, however you say it, 2. This is the X3, so it's a triple core processor, model B75, running at 3.0 gigahertz. And right down there you can see this is actually an HPCompaq branded. That's very common to see that in business class systems. And what I'm going to do, I will show you, I'm going to hide the product key, but we'll show you this has a Windows 7 Pro product key, and that is what this computer is running. Now, we'll put you down for a second. We'll go ahead and take a look at the back. Alright, on the back of this computer, the ports are actually kind of basic, again, because it is a business class system. You have your headphone or line in, line out, no actual headphone ports. You do have to use the line out, and then of course, I'm sorry, no microphone ports, but you could use that as a microphone port if you wanted. Legacy PS2 keyboard and mouse ports, Legacy serial, VGA port. Down here, this, I originally thought it was an HDMI, but this is just a display port adapter, which none of my monitors use, so I'm not bothering with that. You have 6 more USB 2.0 ports on the back. one 10, 100, 1000 gigabit Ethernet port. Right under there, because again this was a business class system, you have a legacy parallel port, and you can see this was actually going to be designed originally for some type of printer. So this may have actually been used in a point of sale system or something to that effect. Underneath we have my ATI Radeon HD 5450 card. One little interesting note, this was actually a low profile card, and because I'm a little bit on the cheap side, I actually made it work in there. I have it kind of wedged into the case, and as you can see, if I do this, it actually stays in pretty good. No real problems there. So I'm put you down one more time. We'll go ahead and take a look inside of this fine machine. And you actually just pull this case out, just like that. Alright, inside here we have your RAM. Right now these are two gigabyte sticks each of DDR3 PC 1066. So this system, I looked it up, can actually hold 16 gigabytes of RAM. So it'd be 4, 8, 12, 16. So that would be four gigabyte sticks. So not too bad. Here's the hard drive. This is a 320 gigabyte SATA Western Digital drive that I pulled out of the Dell. And this drive is in good shape. It does have a lot of hours on it, but no errors or anything like that. So here's hoping this is going to last a lot longer. Room for another hard drive. The only problem is I don't have another set of the hard drive screws. And I looked on eBay, they're like 10 bucks to get all 4 of them. So I'm only going to shell out that if I absolutely have to. I think eventually if I run out of hard drive space with this computer, I'll take this out and upgrade to probably a 1 or a 2 terabyte. Underneath here, this is actually a pretty neat design. This is where the CPU is. And I'm sure you guys can hear my dad starting up one of his classics. Anyway, back to the computer. This is actually similar. This reminds me of how the BTX computers were set up. If you look in here, there's a fan here, and this blows cool air onto the heat sink, and that blows out back here. And then this case fan takes the excess heat out. So, very good design. This computer really runs fairly cool. I think the highest I ever saw this get was about 48 degrees Celsius, which is just a little over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's not too bad. There's, I believe, the North Bridge right here. That one, that's a fairly good size heat sink. You don't really need too much for that. 4 SATA ports. I believe these are 3 gigabytes per second. I don't think 6. They could be 6. I'm not 100% sure. Again, the case fan. Up here we have the power supply. The power supply is, let me see what this is rated at. I think this is one of those weird ones. Yeah, it's rated 320 watts. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why the camera died. Again, this is definitely good enough for me, this ATI Radeon HD 5450, because all I do with this is watch YouTube videos and maybe play some simple games. Let's see what else we got. All the caps and everything are in really good shape as well. Anyway, so that's just a quick tour of this system. I think I'm gonna put these videos together. The next thing you guys see is gonna be me putting the memory card reader in here. So, be back in just a few minutes. All right, just went down to the mail box, and sure enough, it came. This is the memory card reader that I chose. It's a Dynex brand, so originally came from Best Buy, but got this one on eBay for $6.99. It reads pretty much everything, even the high capacity SD cards, which is what's really important to me. But it'll also read memory stick, compact flash, micro SD, pretty much all the major ones. So go ahead and open this and see what it actually comes with. This is how it's packed. And they also apparently give you a white bezel here if you have a white face computer, but since this is gray, we're going to be using this one. Now, let me see what they have in the way of screws or anything. Okay. They do give you some screws, but they're not the right ones for this computer, so I'm going to have to take out these right here. And I think this is the right one, we'll see. It is not the right bit. Took out 2 of the bits, see if this one works. Aha! Well, it's not perfect, but it will work. Unfortunately, the rest of my bits are pretty buried in that closet, which I need to clean out. And 4. Now, very next thing I have to do is remove this front panel here, and this is done by these tabs. You just see these right here. Pull this one out, and there's one on the bottom, right down here. You just pull them out, and then there's one right in the middle, right there. And once you've done that, the case just pulls forward and then out. And there's the front bezel right there. Now, the next thing you have to do is put your 4 screws in. Now, the way this is set up here, I think I have to do 1 screw here, 1 in the back, and then the same on the other side. Quick note, when you're doing this, try to put them in with your hands first. The metal they use in these is very, very poor quality, so it's very, very easy to strip the screws. I'm sorry to say that, but you know, it's just the way it is now. Things are not made like they used to be. And sometimes it takes a minute to get it in right, but you don't want to hurry up on this, because again, you could really very easily script these screw holes. And then we got the 2 on the other side. And for most people, this is much easier. I have as I've said in other videos, I have very thick and meaty hands, small hands too, so it's extra specially hard for me to do. Alright. Go ahead and tighten them up just a little bit, not too much. Almost what you would consider finger tight. Remember, they got 4 of them here, and they're going to sit in the grooves, so they don't really need to be super, super tight. May tighten this one up just a tad more. Just like that. Alright, now I'm going to pull the twist tie off. Okay. Now that you guys can see the front, it has to go right in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and feed the cable in first, as best I can. And then I'll go ahead and put the drive in. Now, I'll show you guys how this works. Since all the 4 screws are in, you see this little tab right here? When you push it in, it actually will make contact with that, and that'll lock it in place. So now, if you look at the front again, there's no movement there. Now that's the last thing you need to do to the front, except on this front bezel here, you need to go ahead and take off this blank. And to do that, all you have to do is pull these 2 tabs here back, actually do one at a time, and then pull back on this blank itself, and it just pops right out. Now that you're ready to put your front case back on, you got to look at these grooves on the side here. On the left side, it has these fitted grooves. and they go right in here. 1, 2, and then one on the bottom. So go ahead and make sure you put them in at an angle, and then it just swings into the other side. And once you get to the other side, the clips will go ahead and, see that? It'll go ahead and just clip in right there. And then the very last thing we have to do is route this new wire to the only available header, which, let me zoom in here so you guys can see that. Let's see. Which is right here. It's kind of being covered by that, but if you can see that. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in. And let's see, this one will go just on top like this. I don't think, it shouldn't matter which way you plug it in. And then of course you want to make sure that you route your cables away from any major areas, in this case the RAM. So I think what I'm going to do here, let's see. I think what I'm going to do here is just kind of tuck it in down here, if I can. Yeah. I'll just put it around the CPU, so you can see right there, I just wrapped it right around the CPU casing there. Alright, go ahead and take a look at the front again real quick. And there you go. There is your newly installed memory card reader. And it looks very good. Almost looks factory. So now, with the memory card installed, we'll be able to do a lot more videos, because instead of having to get out the USB cable, I can just plug my memory card right in there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, the last part is going to be just plugging it in and testing it, but I've done several of these in the past, and I know it should work just fine. If you have any questions or comments, please remember to leave them for me. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.